At the military base known as Area 51, a convoy has just left the site, carrying a secret cargo. At the same time, a car is heading in the opposite direction, carrying two newlyweds who decide to have a romantic moment in the middle of the road. As a result, the driver loses control of the vehicle and crashes into the convoy. Most of the soldiers survive the explosion, but the cargo, in the form of a safe, is thrown away and the door opens on impact. The operation commander calls for reinforcements, but on discovering that the cargo is open, the command center demands that everyone evacuate the area. He obeys the order and calls his team, but from inside the vault emerges a tall, pale man who devours the neck of one of the soldiers in a matter of seconds. The rest of the team tries to eliminate the creature, but the bullets do no damage to the monster, which, with its strength, easily eliminates them. All that remains is the commander and his assistant, who try to flee into the desert, but the man stumbles and accidentally fires his gun. The noise soon attracts the creature which, with one swift blow, knocks the orderly to the ground and removes his jaw. The commander then fires all his ammunition at the monster, but the creature easily bites his neck and drops him to the ground. Seconds later, the commander and his assistant wake up, now as zombies, and follow their leader's call. As soon as they climb a hill, the three come across the city of Las Vegas and, without hesitation, they begin to attack the population and infect everyone who crosses their path. In a matter of days, almost the entire population turns into zombies and chaos overtakes the city. Despite the army's best efforts, their weapons are not enough to stop the hundreds of zombies, leaving only a few survivors. To contain the infection, the US government set up a lockdown in Las Vegas, isolating the area with container walls. 6 years later, seeing that the pathogen could not be eradicated, the President of the United States announced on television that an atomic bomb would be dropped on the city in 4 days' time. Among the survivors is Scott Ward, a mercenary who now works as a cook in a diner. While watching the news, he receives a visit from a casino owner called Bly Tanaka. He makes him a tempting but very risky offer: take $200 million from the coffers of his casino, which is infested with zombies. If he accepts, Scott will receive $50 million as payment, but because it's a high-level mission, the casino owner gives him 24 hours to think about it. During the night, the mercenary remembers his first contact with the zombie apocalypse. Unfortunately, his wife was infected and tried to break into his daughter Kate's room, forcing Scott to eliminate her with a knife. Since that day, he has lived in isolation, while his daughter works as a volunteer to help in the isolation camps. Seeing that this could be his chance to get out of the city, Scott accepts Tanaka's proposal and begins to assemble a team for the invasion. The first member is Maria Cruz, a mercenary and workshop owner who has a past with Scott. Shortly afterwards, they call in Van, a retired sniper who now works as a physiotherapist in a nursing home. Being longtime friends, the three agree to split $45 million between them, with the other $5 million going to the rest of the team. With the team assembled, the trio begins to prepare the weapons for combat and arranges a meeting with all the members in a warehouse. At this meeting, the gunman and influencer Guzman introduces his two assistants, Damon and Chambers, who will split his share of the payment. However, when he sees Dieter, a locksmith who specializes in safes, Van doesn't approve of him as he believes he won't survive a horde of zombies. However, as he will be in charge of the most important part of the mission, which is opening the safe, Scott decides to keep him in the group. Finally, Mr. Tanaka appears on the scene and shows everyone the target of the invasion, his huge casino, called Vegas Bly. The group must enter the city on foot, get past the zombies and reach the building, where they will find the safe. Once they have opened it and transported all the money, they must make their way to the top of the building, where they will find an escape helicopter. If all goes well, they'll complete the mission with a day's head start before the bomb is dropped on Las Vegas. However, when he finds out that the mission involves zombies, Damon refuses to take part and leaves. Guzman is frustrated by this, but decides to continue with the team, which receives another reinforcement: Martin, Tanaka's head of security and supplier of weapons and equipment. Now it remains to be seen how the group will get through the isolation area. Scott already knows what to do, but for that, he needs the help of Kate, with whom he hasn't spoken since her mother died. Later, he meets her at her camp, but Kate still harbors a grudge against her father and doesn't want to talk to him. Even so, Scott promises that if she helps his team get into the isolation zone, he'll give her $15 million to start her life again. Kate reluctantly agrees to help and, the next morning, she takes everyone by bus to the camp. There, they meet Lily Coyote, a gunfighter who leads people into the isolation area to collect resources. However, when Kate finds out that Coyote has taken her friend Gita to Las Vegas, she gets angry and punches her. Lily justifies herself by saying that she did it at Gita's insistence because she needed to get money to support her children. Kate then decides to go with the team and rescue her friend, even against her father's orders. But before she goes, Coyote tells her that she'll need another guide in town, so she summons Bert, a guard who works at the camp. When he receives an offer of $20,000, he accepts without hesitation. Finally, Coyote tells everyone to bring gallons of gasoline to fuel the helicopter and the casino's power generator and, with everything ready, she guides them through a tunnel to the city. There, they find a seemingly deserted Las Vegas, but are soon surprised by a zombie tiger, known as Valentine. Luckily, the creature soon leaves and, once the place is safe, Lily asks Bert to lend her his pistol. The man obeys and she shoots him in the leg. The group is surprised by this, but Lily replies that they have to leave an offering to the local zombies, known as alphas, in order to move on. The group then hides behind the cars, while the guard screams in pain and asks for help. Seconds later, an alpha zombie, called the Queen, appears with another monster and, seeing the group's offering, they take Bert inside the building, called Olympus. Once there, the guard comes across Zeus, the first zombie of his kind. After analyzing the victim, he infects him with a bite on the arm, so that the subject joins his group as a new alpha zombie. Meanwhile, the group decides to continue their journey and enters a building, where they find dozens of zombies, but they don't move. Coyote warns them that they are in hibernation and that they must pass through without making a sound. Scott leads the way, leaving emergency lights to guide the group along the way, and everyone does their best not to touch the zombies. Chambers tells Martin to go ahead, because as he was sent personally by Tanaka, she doesn't trust him and decides to keep an eye on him. As she feared, as soon as he gets the chance, Martin throws one of the emergency lights somewhere else and Chambers goes the wrong way. She ends up bumping into one of the zombies and wakes him up, but Chambers quickly eliminates him with a knife. However, more zombies begin to awaken and Chambers is forced to put an end to them. Then the mercenary finds her way out, but one of the zombies falls on a cabinet, knocking over a steel tray. The noise awakens all the zombies and they begin to surround Chambers on all sides. Despite this, the mercenary is undeterred and begins to eliminate them with her knife and pistol, but as soon as she finds the exit, Martin once again betrays the woman and locks the kitchen door from the other side. The rest of the team run for the exit, but can't find their partner and ask Martin what happened. Suddenly, Chambers bursts through the window into the corridor and, despite running low on ammunition, she continues to fight the zombies. Unfortunately, several of them come together and Chambers is bitten by all of them at once. Guzman tries to help her, but seeing that it's already too late, he gives her a dignified end, shooting at her gas tank and blowing up everything around, including the zombies. After this confrontation, the group heads out of the building and finally finds the casino. When they enter the place, it appears to be uninhabited, but soon zombies appear, which the group easily eliminates with their weapons. With the area cleared, Dieter investigates the scene and finds a blueprint of the building on the table. Scott deduces that Tanaka had already sent other teams to break into the vault, but none of them returned alive. He then asks Martin about it, but the guy says he doesn't know anything about it. Despite their suspicions, the group needs to hurry to complete the mission, so Scott divides the tasks between the team. While he and Kate go to find the generator and reconnect the power, Cruz and Peters must go to the roof to refuel the helicopter. Once the building's power is back on, Van and Guzman will accompany Dieter to the vault and deactivate the security traps. Finally, Martin offers to check the security of the perimeter and calls Lily to accompany him. With the first part of the plan completed, Dieter, Guzman and Van take the elevator down to the vault corridor and find more zombies. With the creatures gone, there are still security traps to get through in order to reach the vault. The first of these is an electrically charged iron grate, next to which are the bodies of the previous team, eliminated when they tried to cut through the grates. To get around this, Van destroys them with explosives and now they have to get past the next traps. Meanwhile, Coyote and Martin go to the outskirts of the casino and, for reasons unknown, they summon the Queen and her zombie security guard. As soon as she tries to attack them, Martin fires a harpoon from his gun, causing the Queen to be trapped by a steel rope. The other zombie tries to defend her and rends Martin on top of a car, but just as he was about to bite him, Lily takes him out with one shot. The sound of gunfire is heard by Zeus, who was on his way to meet Gehenna and two other friends, captured and held captive in their lair. He was about to choose one of them to turn into an alpha, but when he heard his queen's screams, he ran to see what had happened. Meanwhile, Martin takes advantage of the fact that the zombie is trapped and, using a steel rope, removes its head. It is then revealed that Lily and Martin were in on it together and have been hired to take an alpha zombie sample to their boss. Tanaka's idea is not to take the money from the safe, but to give the military a way to control the zombies and thus create an invincible army. The two then head off with the Queen's head hidden in a backpack, without imagining the consequences that this act will bring. Back in the vault, Van brings in a zombie strapped to a trolley and sends it down the vault corridor to trigger the traps. However, it refuses and tries to bite Dieter, forcing Van to eliminate it. He tries again, but this time Van induces another zombie to follow him down the corridor by throwing a human hand heated in the microwave. The plan works and the zombie follows down the corridor, triggering the first trap, which fires several tranquilizer darts. The monster continues to walk down the corridor and triggers the second trap, with several guns emerging from the wall and firing at the creature. Despite being wounded, the zombie continues in search of his hand and, when he gets close to the vault, he triggers the last trap, with 2 walls destroying him completely. Now that the safe is secure, it's Dieter's turn to do his part and open it. However, more problems arise when the TV news reports that the president has brought forward the launch of the bomb in Las Vegas by a day. Now, the group has just 90 minutes to open the safe and escape the city before the explosion turns them to dust. To make matters worse, when Peters arrives on the roof and tries to launch the helicopter, its engine explodes and she'll need time to fix it. Even so, Dieter is confident that he will open the safe, but he needs 30 minutes to do so. The group agrees and, while he works, they all take some of the money that is outside the safe, as an advance payment. Finally, Dieter finds the combination of the 4 mechanisms and manages to open the safe, leaving everyone relieved, especially Van. As soon as they enter, they find the $200 million and rush to put all the money in their suitcases. Meanwhile, on the outskirts of the city, Zeus is looking for his queen, but all he finds is her body without her head. He tries to hear the sound coming from her belly, revealing that the 2 of them were expecting a child, but he hears nothing. Furious, Zeus takes her body back to the lair and, with his hands, he opens the queen's belly and finds her son. However, as soon as he takes it out, it loses its life seconds later, arousing the fury of the zombie leader, who declares revenge on those responsible. Unsuspecting of the approaching threat, the group finishes collecting the money and prepares to leave. Cruz, however, is bothered by something, and when Scott asks her about it, she says that, apart from the money, she hoped the mission would be a chance for the 2 of them to reconnect. But now that he has the chance to start again, he promises her and Kate a better life. But when he looks for his daughter, Scott can't find her anywhere. Still worried about her friend, Kate ventures out alone to look for her and sees Zeus, along with his army of zombies, preparing to invade the casino. As soon as they enter, the young woman seizes the opportunity and rushes to Olympus in search of Gita. Just then, Scott figures out where his daughter has gone and is ready to go after her alone, but Cruz insists on accompanying him. However, as soon as they activate the elevator, several zombies appear, with one of them eliminating Cruz in front of Scott. Filled with rage, the mercenary attacks them with all his might. However, one of the zombies is more agile and manages to dodge the attacks, pinning Scott to the wall and preparing to bite him. Even so, the mercenary manages to dodge and throws the zombie's head against the wall, eliminating it for good. The fight is just beginning and more zombies begin to break into the vault and surround the team. Martin and Coyote try to escape through the emergency exit, but as soon as he climbs the ladder, the guy closes the grate before his partner can get through. Just as he did with Chambers, the traitor lets her be captured and intends to take all the credit for taking the queen's head. Meanwhile, in the vault, Dieter and Van try to get out via the elevator, but several zombies start appearing from the ceiling. The pair manage to eliminate several of them, but then Zeus appears, wearing an iron mask. Thanks to it, the shots don't do any damage to the zombie, so Van decides to take him on in a hand-to-hand fight. The mercenary throws punches and kicks at the monster, but it proves stronger and more resilient, knocking him to the ground without difficulty. With no strength left to fight, Van tries one last blow, but Zeus grabs his hand and prepares to infect him with a bite. Dieter protects his friend by attacking the zombie in the head with an iron bar. He then pushes Van into the vault and closes the gate to protect him, but Dieter is soon captured by the monster. Outside the casino, Martin begins his escape, boasting that he has made off with his prize. However, he senses that something is wrong because the queen's head doesn't react inside the backpack. Looking inside, Martin realizes that he has been tricked by Coyote, who has put a money washing machine in place of the queen's head. His luck only worsens when he finds himself next to the zombie tiger, who pushes him towards the car and then begins to devour him. Back at the casino, Coyote joins Scott and Guzman to get past the zombies and reach the exit. The place, however, is infested with zombies, but now all that's left is to fight them off in order to escape. Scott uses his agility and combat skills to finish off the zombies, while Coyote eliminates the creatures with his gun. Guzman also manages to defeat several of them, but is taken down by 2 zombies, one of which bites his arm. He fights back by shooting both of them, but as with Chambers, He knows there's no chance of survival. Then, as a last act of sacrifice, he sets off a grenade and blows everything up with the zombies, giving Scott and Coyote the chance to escape to the elevator. When they reach the roof, they meet Peters, who tries to take off the helicopter, but the engine malfunctions again. The situation becomes even more critical when Zeus appears again, ready to eliminate all the survivors of the group. To stop him, Coyote pulls the Queen's head out of his backpack and threatens to shoot her if the zombie takes another step. She then tells Scott to get into the helicopter, because despite having betrayed the group, she is willing to make up for her mistakes. Finally, Peters manages to get the ship off the ground, but Zeus pulls out a huge iron bar and throws it at Coyote, hitting her with all his might. Even so, she smashes her head off the top of the building, causing the Queen to be destroyed by the fall. After that, Peters and Scott leave by helicopter, but before leaving the city, he asks to land at Olympus, because he needs to rescue his daughter. Fortunately, just then, the young woman manages to find Gita and another survivor, and leads them towards the exit. However, Bert, now an alpha zombie, attacks the survivor from behind with a bite and sets out to infect Kate, who fires back with a clear shot. Now only Kate and Gita are left, but Zeus appears before them, along with what's left of his zombie army. The leader orders everyone to attack Kate, but she shoots them all and then tries to eliminate Zeus, but her bullets bounce off his helmet. Out of ammunition, Kate and Gita are just waiting for their fate, when the zombie leader advances towards them. But at the last second Scott appears, leads them safely to the stairs and fires a missile at Zeus. The villain manages to dodge, but the explosion pushes him away, giving the trio the chance to escape to the roof. Once there, they can't find the helicopter and Scott fears that Peters has abandoned them and fled the city. However, he is relieved to see her land on the roof and the three of them rush to catch up with the helicopter and flee Las Vegas. To their misfortune, Zeus returns and, with one leap, he manages to break into the ship and a fight breaks out between him and Scott. Despite his skill, the mercenary is not strong enough against the zombie and tries to eliminate it with his pistol. However, Zeus deflects the gun, causing the shot to hit Peters and leave her wounded. Even so, she manages to steer the helicopter out of the isolation area, just in time for the bomb to be dropped on the city. As soon as it explodes, all of Las Vegas disappears from the map and the wave of energy causes the helicopter to destabilize. With the ship falling, Scott is pushed forward and Zeus takes the chance to bite his neck. Kate tries to help her father and hits the zombie with the fire extinguisher and, with the enemy stunned, Scott shoots at the zombie, destroying its head. Despite having eliminated the enemy, the helicopter crashes in the middle of the desert. Kate manages to survive the crash, but finds her father injured and about to lose his life. Before saying goodbye to his daughter, he gives her the money he managed to get from the safe, so that she can start her life again. Kate cries at the sight of her father leaving, but as soon as Scott loses consciousness, the infection spreads and he turns into a zombie. Just as she saw her infected mother eliminated by her father, Kate is forced to do the same to Scott and shoots him. As she mourns her loss, a military helicopter appears to rescue the survivors. Hours after the explosion, in the middle of the city, Van emerges from a tunnel, having survived thanks to the protection of the safe. Holding all the money he could carry, he sets off in search of any survivors and finds a vehicle parked at a house. He steals the car and travels to the airport, where he rents a private plane with his new fortune. Inside the plane, he convinces the stewardesses to celebrate the trip, but just as he's about to make the toast, Van starts to feel sick and goes to the bathroom to wash his face. He then realizes that he was bitten by Zeus during the confrontation and will soon become the new Alpha, just as the plane is about to land in Mexico City. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.